So Steam Machine pricing just leaked. And you might want to sit down for this one. $950 for the base model, over $1,000 for the 2 terabytes version. But here's the thing, the price. That's not even the scary part. What this tells us about the future of gaming hardware in 2026, that is what should actually worry you. Whether you're buying a phone, a laptop, or even a PS5 this year. Stick around, this gets wild. Alright, so here's what happened. Some dude on Reddit was digging through this Czech retailer's website Smarty. They're actually an official Valve seller in Europe and found pricing buried in the HTML source code, not visible on the actual site, just sitting there in the code. $950 USD for 512 gigabytes. $1,070 for 2 terabytes. Now look, normally I'd say placeholder pricing. Grain of salt, whatever. But then a second retailer, Alza, one of the biggest in Czech Republic, had basically the same numbers hidden in their code too. When 2 separate retailers independently list the same prices. That's not a coincidence. Here's the catch though. These are retail prices with markup. Smarty typically adds 15 minus 17 on Valve stuff. Run the math backwards. And Valve's direct pricing is probably closer to 8,1 for 916. Still way more than anyone wanted, but not quite as bad as that $1,070 sticker shock makes it seem. And this is where it gets interesting. Back in November, literally 2 months ago, Linus from Linus Tech Tips built a Steam Machine replica from scratch. Bought all the parts, did the math, predicted it'd cost $700. He spent $910 on retail components, factored in Valve's bulk discounts, their direct-to-consumer model, and landed on $699 for the base version. He was off by $115 to $250 depending on which leak you believe. Look, Linus isn't guessing here. He literally knows people at Valve. He had early access to Steam Machine info. The dude builds PCs for a living. If his prediction is wrong by that much in just 2 months, something changed fast. That something has a name, the RAM crisis, or as some people are calling it, Ramageddon. Yeah, it's that bad. Okay, real talk. This isn't just about Steam Machine anymore. This is about a memory shortage that is hitting every piece of tech you are gone now by this year. Here's what's happening. AI data centers are basically vacuuming up the entire global supply of RAM. When Linus made his $700 prediction in November, RAM prices were already high. Since then, they've gone absolutely insane. We're talking 50 to 70% price increases in 1 quarter. Samsung, SK Hynix, Micron, the 3 companies that make basically all the RAM in the world, they are pivoting their entire factories away from making consumer memory to making high bandwidth memory for AI chips. Why? Because Nvidia, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, they're placing what's called open-ended orders. Translation: give us everything you can produce, price doesn't matter. And here's the kicker. When manufacturers make 1 unit of AI memory, they have to sacrifice making 3 units of regular consumer RAM. It's a 3-to-1 trade-off. Right now, they're choosing AI memory because profit margins are massive, like obscene. The result? Consumer RAM and SSD prices have more than doubled since November. DDR5 kits that were $260. Now $500. NAND storage up 60% month over month in some categories. Valve can't escape this, even if they wanted to sell Steam Machine at $700. The parts literally cost more now than they did when Linus did his calculations. I know what you're thinking. Why would I pay $1,000 for this when a PS5 is $500? And Xbox Series X is $650? Valid question, but you're comparing apples to subsidized oranges. Sony and Microsoft lose money on every console. That $500 PS5 costs Sony like $450 to $480 to make. They sell at barely above cost, sometimes at a loss, because they make their real money from game sales, PlayStation Plus, and their 30% cut of every game sold. Valve explicitly said we're not doing that. They're pricing Steam Machine like a PC, which means they need actual profit on the hardware. Spec-wise though, Steam Machine sits between PS5 and Xbox Series X Zen 4 CPU, newer than their Zen 2, way better for high frame rate stuff. Arna 3 GPU with 28 compute units, about 15% weaker than PS5, 35% weaker than Series X, 8GB RAM, and yeah, this is the problem, that 8GB RAM is honestly the real bottleneck. Modern AAA games eat RAM for breakfast, 8GB in 2026. It's tight. PS5 has 16GB unified memory, about 11-13GB usable for graphics. Xbox Series X, similar, so Steam Machine is working with less graphics memory than 5-year-old consoles. But and this is Valve's bet, you get PC flexibility, upgrade the SSD yourself, tweak settings way beyond console limits, 19,000 plus Steam Deck verified games plus the entire PC library through Proton. Access to your existing Steam library, no $70 game prices, no online subscription fees, frequent sales. It's a different value proposition. Controversial take incoming. 9001004 Steam machine might actually be reasonable. Hear me out before you click away. If you wanted to build a similar PC right now in January 2026, Ryzen 5 7600 is $220, ARC 7600 GPU is $270 if you can even find one. 16GB DDR5 is $85, was $50 3 months ago. 512GB NVMe is $65 case. Motherboard SU cooling easily $200 plus Windows license $100 to $140. You're at $940 minimum, and that's assuming you can actually find these parts at MSRP right now. Good luck with that. Steam machine gives you SteamOS free versus Windows. Custom compact design. Try fitting a gaming PC in a 6-inch cube. Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3 built-in, Steam controller wireless adapter integrated, console-style sleep resume, warranty and support directly from Valve. When you add all that up, 900950 isn't robbery. It's competitive with the current PC market. The problem is people aren't comparing it to PCs. They're comparing it to subsidized consoles that lose money on hardware, different business models entirely. Here's my actual hot take. Steam machine isn't too expensive. Everything else has been artificially cheap. We got spoiled. Console makers eating losses for decades. PC components that were cheap because manufacturers were overproducing. 2026 is when reality catches up. RAM prices going up another 40-70 this quarter. IDC predicting PC sales could drop 9% in 2026. Worst since the 2009 financial crisis purely because parts are so expensive now. Your next iPhone? Probably $100 more. Next laptop? Same, PS6 when it eventually launches. Don't expect $500. Steam machine isn't an outlier. It's a preview of where everything is headed, and honestly, if you actually need a gaming PC in 2026, Steam machine at 900950 might end up being one of the better deals available, because by Q1 2026 when it launches, RAM prices will be even higher. My actual advice, if you need any tech, laptop, phone, PC parts, whatever, buy it now, like this month, before 2025 inventory runs out. Once new contracts kick in with 2026 pricing, you're gonna wish you bought in January. Is Steam machine worth $950? Depends. Do you value PC flexibility and Steam's library? Then maybe, but at least now you know why it costs what it costs. Everything else is about to get way more expensive too. Fun times. Comment below. Would you actually pay $950 for a Steam machine? Or are you just gonna build your own? Or maybe your team console and this confirms you're staying right where you are. If this helped you understand what's really happening with tech prices this year, throw a like on the video. And subscribe if you want more of this kind of breakdown. Trust me, we are gonna be talking about the RAM crisis a lot in 2026. See you in the next one.